Good morning. It's Friday, March 18th, 2022. My name is Terry Morgan and we are here to practice Wudang Qigong. We have the advanced sets this morning, sets 10 through 18, and we're probably not going to practice all 9 of those sets, but we are going to practice several of them. My apologies for being late again this morning. I got up at 5. Snoozed a little bit until about 6. Got up, came in, turned on the lights, right? Started getting things ready. And about 10 minutes to 7 came in and said, I might be a little bit late. Started setting up and the network didn't connect. So I had to fix the network this morning before I could come to class. It's fixed now. Yay. Alright, so, excuse me. Alright. So, one of the things that we're going to pay attention to this morning, and as I'm still having my coffee and talking about this, the process of learning, how we learn, right? As I walk through these sets and I walk through the process that I've been through to develop my skills and develop the abilities through the arts that I've been able to develop, those skills are part of how I learned. Not how I was taught, how I learned. And there's a difference. And I want to talk about that just a little bit so that as we practice this morning, the idea that you want to take away that part of practice that you can develop. You can take away and you can develop on your own, without me anywhere, right? Your own internal practice. How do you develop that? Well, but I don't, right? Where do I start? Well, you start here, or a similar class. Start with the basics, and you build up. If your basic foundations are solid, that means that you understand the underlying principles of the art that you're practicing, and that you can apply those principles. And it's not a long list. It's not a long list. If you understand those principles and you can apply them, applying them, that's not always easy. Then you know how to learn for yourself. That I'm going to go practice, and in my practice, I'm going to focus on connecting the breath with the movement. We do that. In my practice, I do that a lot. I learned it very early. Part of practice. As I learned how to, and I'm taking a step back, as I learned how to connect my breath and the movement that I was doing, I developed some additional skills in my movements because of that connection. I was able to make the connection, and the side effects, the side benefit, was an increased ability to move. that learning process, that recognition, some of that happened in real time for me as I was learning. Hey, I'm learning. Oh, if I do this, I can do better. Great, let me do this. Right? I wanted to do better. I wanted to develop my skills. How do I think about what I'm doing? How do I think about developing those skills? I want to develop enough that my arthritis doesn't bother me quite so much. Good motivation. That's a good motivation. I want to develop so that all of my athletic abilities are improved and enhanced because I want to go audition for Cirque du Soleil next year. I'm not going, but it's 40 years ago, I might have. Now, it ain't happening. But someone else might think that way. How can we learn for ourselves without someone else? No coach, no teacher, nobody else looking at what you're doing, just you and the mirror. If you look, it'll tell you a lot. It will. Let's get started. The teacher wants to help. That's my motivation. I want to help my students. I want to help my students be able to do. Okay? I don't hover. I don't. But I can. There are times when I do sort of hover. But the goal is that the student's able to do what they want to do on their own and do it reasonably well according to their own goal. As a coach, I'm not there to help. I'm there to criticize. This is wrong, this is wrong. Yeah, you did that, okay, but you need to do this better, because my goal is that the student would excel. And as I stand back and watch, I can see where that student, where that person enjoys what they're doing. And I can push them just a little bit to enjoy it a little bit more. That's what makes for that lifelong learning. That you enjoy what you're doing and that you look for those things that you enjoy while you're doing it. That's part of, it's a big part of how we learn for ourselves. So, take those principles, connect the body with the breath, relax the mind, turn the waist, right? All of these basic principles in physical movement, combine that with the idea of, emptying the mind so that there aren't any odd thoughts. There's nothing that is a distraction. There's nothing that is not part of your current practice. What am I doing right now? Everything is focused on now. Everything that's not floats away. It'll come back later, but that's one of the principles that we want to use. We want to learn. We need to know it, and then we need to apply it. And again, that application, not so easy. The relaxation with energy, Basung, this idea of being relaxed and energetic and having internal strength, having the outer appearance be soft, while the inner feeling, my hand appears soft on the outside, the inner feeling is strong. Developing those kinds of skills is part of what we do in our own practice. It's not something that comes from outside. It's not something the coach can tell. Coach can tell you what you're doing wrong. Coach can tell you what you're doing right. Teacher can give you instruction for how to do, what to pay attention to. At the end of the day, what you do in your practice is how you develop the skill to learn more. Focus on the physical body. Focus on basic anatomy. That gives you additional skills, right? Focus on the breath and the connection with the breath. Additional skills. Let's do basic stretch, and then we're going to start this morning. I know it's advanced class. We're going to start this morning with set number 1, begin at extreme emptiness. Then I'm going to have some instruction for that in just a second. Feet about shoulder width apart, stand straight. Basic stretch, hands circle to the front, back around both sides. Bend the knees, up along the center line. Reach out. Extend through the whole body. Use the breath. Actively relax and stretch out. All the way up. Elbows drop down. Wrists, fingertips, hands return to your sides. All right, with begin at extreme emptiness. Pay attention to this connection that we worked on yesterday so that we quiet the breath, quiet the body, and quiet the mind. Pull up through the crown of the head. Tip of the tongue touches the roof of the mouth. Ladies, right hand on the outside. Gentlemen, left hand on the outside. Breathe in. Quiet the breath. Quiet the movement. Quiet the mind. Focus on the breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Quiet. And soft. Strong on the inside. 2 more. Breathe in. And separate. Down on both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. This resilient strength with a quiet movement on the outside. Pay attention to that as we turn the waist. Okay? Strength here. Resist as you press down. quietly. Okay. I'm going to show you this. This first time, I'm going to do quietly. Everything's quiet, nice and easy. All right. This time, I'm going to apply strength. Exactly the same movement. The quality of the movement is different. We want to develop that skill as well, so that as we learn how to practice for ourselves, we can separate the different types of practice or bring them together so that we develop a full range of skills, not just this particular one. Being quiet, moving quietly, gives us the ability to extend our internal strength and the internal energy through the movement so that we bring that strength to the movement. Using external force, physical strength through this movement, as long as it doesn't close any other part of the body and doesn't inhibit what we're doing, what we should be doing. So it shouldn't be stiff, right? Bringing strength, I wasn't stiff. That smooth, continuous movement must remain. It can't become a stiff kind of thing, you're robotic kind of thing. No, you can't do that. That's maybe something else. It's not what I'm teaching. All right? So that smooth, continuous movement, quietly. We're going to do it again. This time, quiet. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Pull up through the crown of the head. Breathe in. Palms up. And breathe out. Press down. And breathe in. Make your movement as quiet as possible. Nice and easy. Energy in the movement. So it's not empty. It's docile, relaxed, open. Everything's moving. Quietly. Open the back. Nice and easy. Only use those muscles that you need to use. Let everything else rest. Breathe. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax the breath. Breathe in. Breathe from the bottom of the lungs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Turn. Nice and easy. Quiet movement. Connect the breath. Last time. Open the back. Press down. Turn. Breathe in. Hands down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. Next, same set. Exactly the same set. We're going to do 3 times. And keep this sense of quiet. Add strength. That movement needs to remain. Yes, we are. The movement needs to remain smooth and outwardly soft. So the outward appearance of the movement remains soft. You're not trying to put tension. Tension and strength are different. You don't want tension, you want strength. Okay? Pull in. Everything pulls in and holds. And that strength is what we extend. Same set, 3 times. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Pull up through the crown of the head. Strength, not tension. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Focus on the breath. Pull in to the bone through the entire body. The prerequisite for that is knowing your anatomy. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Only use those muscles that you absolutely need. Hold everything else. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time, and breathe in. Breathe out. 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 Come to center, breathe in. Hands down along both sides, pull up through the crown of the head, raise the heels and lower. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out again. Relax. Alright, we're going to do one more set. This time, as we move, pay attention to the connection between the upper and lower body, the waist. As the waist turns, connect the breath, connect the lower dantian with the lao bone in the palm so that as you come through this connect and gather, right? From here, lower dantian, gather that in. Use this intrinsic strength that I'm talking about, this idea that you extend the strength through the movement, not tension, strength, okay? Everything pulls in, and add, not a lot, add a little bit of that internal energy to the internal strength. Jing, Jin, right? That little bit that sense that this is soft on the outside, but if you push against it, it's solid. That sense, together with, I'm not going to say lively because that's not what we're going for right now, but that sense that there is not only effort, but energy in the move. So, with my hand here, if I have effort, have some effort, right? A little bit of effort as I move out, right? Effort and energy. Little bit of difference, and internally it's a big difference. Pay attention to this connection and practice 3 more times. Same set. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. That internal strength and that internal energy. Outwardly soft, inwardly strong. Breathe in. Palms up. Breathe out. Press down. Arms circle. Breathe in and breathe out. Come to center. Right side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Open the body. Connect the breath. Connect the physical strength with the internal strength. Connect the breath with the inner breath, with the chi. Connect the chi with the internal energy, jing, and breathe. Last time. Hands down on both sides, pull up through the crown of the head, raise the heels and lower. Stay there, breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. We do a little bit more. Pay attention a little bit more to, I'm going to look at some notes over here for a second, hang on. Pay a little bit more attention to the class notes that I don't have up over here. There it is. It's my day. Alright, this interconnection, building that interconnection, building that strength is very much, and I've used this metaphor before, it's very much building that channel. So as you start out, it's a small, narrow channel, and it's hard to find, and yeah, where is this, and how do I do this connection, and what is she talking about? I went through that. I know, I do. And then as we develop the practice, we start building that channel. It starts to become a little bit deeper, and it becomes more accessible to us in our own practice. That is a big part of how we learn for ourselves. Developing that channel, developing that muscle memory, that recall, and that actual memory. So muscle memory and action, my thought process of what I remember and what situation and what I was doing, that thought process is not the same as my muscle memory. Okay? Muscle memory will tell me things that my ordinary memory won't. Seriously, it will. The same principle, the same idea that I practice over and over and over and over again, and my muscles learn what the exercise is. They know. I don't have to tell them anymore. I don't have to think about it anymore. I might pay attention to it, but I don't have to think about it. I can think about other things. Developing that skill with our internal workmanship is part of what I'm trying to do with this class. And how do you get from point A to point B? How do you get from, I have no clue what she's talking about, and what's this energy thing plus the breath and the, how do you get from that to, I understand what she's talking about. Not real clearly, but I understand it. To, I understand it, and I can apply that understanding to my own practice. To, I understand it, and I know how to develop that understanding through my own practice. That part. That's where I'm going this morning. All right? How do I get there? Here's that process. Part of how you get there is paying attention to, again, the foundations and the fundamentals. This litany that I go through during class. I did not used to do that. Okay? It's part of my teaching. It's not part of my go away and practice on my own practice. It's part of the teaching. It's the only way to communicate, right? Unless you're in the room with me and then I can show you stuff and I don't have to talk. But there is a need to verbalize some things. That's part of how we as humans learn. It is. We need that. We need that understanding. We need that level of comprehension and that sense of communication so that we can develop for ourselves what we need to keep going. All right? What did I need to keep going? I was already highly motivated. I like Tai Chi. I like Qigong. I like Chinese martial arts. I do. I did. Still do. Right? I'm still here. I'm still practicing. I like these arts. I like being able to get up and do something that benefits my health, that can benefit me if I'm in a situation that I have to defend myself, that has a philosophical and historical foundation, that has I'm going to just say a little bit more, because there's always a little bit more that we can learn. All right? That always has that little bit more. Something more that I can develop, something more that I could do. I can do this movement. Do I want to develop it so I can do this movement? Yeah, I do. Okay. How do I do that? Well, I got to bend this, and I got to move this, and I got to support this weight, and I got to, all right, there's a whole litany of things on the physical body that I need to pay attention to just for that one simple movement. Once I understand that, once I've gone through that litany and said, okay, this is what I'm doing with the small muscles in my hip, this is what I need to release in my leg, this is what I need to support through the back. As I sink down a little bit further, I need to pull up a little bit more through the ribs, and I need to make sure that I support the top of my hip through the abs, so that as I sink, I'm not sitting on my legs. I need to open the legs so I can keep going. All of that was something that I went through repeatedly in practice for, I'm going to say, 2-3 years. Part of it came through my dance practice. I show up for class and we practice. This is what we practice. That skill I still have today. And that is part of what I'm trying to encourage learning when I talk about go learn your anatomy. That's a prerequisite. This is advanced class, learn your anatomy. Know what you're supposed to be doing. As we do that, we gain the ability to not have to pay attention to it. Now, I know that sounds contradictory, but that's the way it works. I've learned it, I know it, my body's cooperating, my muscles are cooperating, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't have to pay attention to it, so now I can pay attention to my breath. You know where I'm going with that, right? It goes all the way through. This development is ongoing. There is always more. Develop the ability in your physical body to do certain movements. There's always going to be a little bit more that you can do. Develop your skill with the internal workmanship and being able to manage and direct your chi and the internal breath, as well as the strength and the energy through the movement. There's always going to be a little bit more that you can learn. There's always going to be that little bit more refinement, that little bit better that I can do this. or that. All right. For today, we're going to do one more set. And I'm looking at my list that I put up here in my notes and stuff. So stirring the grass to seek the snake. We have a little bit the same idea that we have with shaking the tail feathers. So we've got turning the waist, right? Stirring the grass to seek the snake. We got 1, 2, 3, and open down and come on back up. We're going to do this first time through quietly, paying attention to the rhythm. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, right? Not quite that fast, but pay attention to quiet movement, turning the waist, and that rhythmic sense. Wind blowing through tall grass, the snake, right? Pay attention. Feet about shoulder width apart, stand straight. Pull up through the crown of the head. Relax the breath. And turn to the left. Right hand under. And turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And turn. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Relax through the body. Open the waist. Quiet the movement. Nice and easy. Outwardly soft. Inwardly strong. That nice quiet movement on the outside. No strain. Quiet and complete. Little bit of energy in that move, not too much. Not much. Nice and easy. Quiet. Keep the rhythm. And 2 more. Breathe. Turn. Relax the waist. Last time. And come to center. Hands down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. This time, 3. Add strength, Jin, the physical strength, not tension, strength. Okay? You don't, no, strength. Add some energy A little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. And add the idea, add the intent that you're moving something out of your way for all of the movements. Okay? So, as this hand comes out, add the intent that there's something here that you want to clear out of your way. The same thing as this hand comes out, something here is outward, right? Turning outward. Something over here. Go away. As we come through, split apart. This idea, same thing, this intent. Press out. I open this up, right? This tall grass, I'm looking for the snake. I don't really want to find snake, but I'm looking for the snake, right? That's the name of the move. So, as we open here, more weight stays on your sustaining leg. Open your extending leg to the point that you can bring it back. Okay? So if I open out to here, I can't bring my foot back without doing something else. I'm not quite there yet. Here is okay. I can do this because there it is. Keep that in mind that we are going down. This set, use strength, not force. It's different. Use strength. Keep the movement quiet. And pay attention to this idea of moving something, this intent. I'm going to move something out of my way so that there's enough strength, again, not force, strength, behind what you're doing. And if there was, in fact, something there, you could move it out of your way. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Pull up through the ground ahead. Pay attention to your breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 Turn. And come to center. Turn. Come to center. Use the breath. Use the intent. All of it's connected. And breathe in, breathe out. Pull up through the crown of the head, raise the heels in lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. This skill, and we'll do a little bit one more. This skill, bringing together all of the physical elements, all of the internal elements, and then extending the energy that comes from bringing all of that together through the movement is one of the things that we want to develop. We want that skill. Okay? The process of developing it, yeah, understanding intellectually, understanding the concepts is the first step. If you've never heard of Qi, you've never heard of Jin, you've never heard of Jing, you've never heard of Shen, you've never heard any of these concepts, and you don't understand the meaning in the original language. Okay? You don't have to know the original language, but you need to understand the meaning that comes from. It's not word-word translation, unfortunately. It'd be nice if it was. I do a lot of word-word translation. I do pay attention to that. And finding the right word is not always easy, because sometimes there's not one word. Sometimes the idea that's expressed in that one word needs a bit more explanation than just that one word. So, Qi, I use internal breath as the English for Qi. I also use Qi because we need to understand that's what it is. These other energies that we have, that's part of being human, we have them. Whether we know about them or not, whether we pay attention to them or not, that's a question. In the internal arts, we pay close attention to all of them. Do one more, and I'm going to keep with this idea of, again, this turning and quieting the movement so that the idea, the intent, and the strength, the inner strength, Jin, can come through. That means the outer body, the physical body, right, doesn't have a lot of tension in it. Strength, yes. Tension, no. All right? As we turn, this swaying through the whole body, make it soft and quiet. Okay? So the exercise right now, quiet movement. Pay attention to the turning and how light and strong. Okay? This is light, but there also has to be strength in the movement. How light and how strong you can make the movement through the whole body. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Pull up through the crown of the head. Breathe in. Breathe out. Arms up. Light and strong. On the right, breathe. And the left, relax the breath. Keep the rhythm. Keep the movement light. And strong. Breathe in breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last time, breathe in. Breathe out. Relax through the body. Open the back. And palms up. Hands down on both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. Each movement, as we turn, can be more directed, less directed, stronger, less strong, quieter, not so quiet. We don't want extra tension. Some tension has to be there, right? We don't want extra. We want as much to be relaxed as possible, and we want that resilient strength that comes from having more elasticity, more resilience in the muscles, so that as we move, it's easier to move, not more difficult. Everything goes to making it easier, right? As we practice this quiet movement, we develop the skill to sense or see, visualize. I use a lot of visualizations for my own practice. So I look at the anatomy book and I'd look at the anatomy book and I'd memorize the picture of whatever muscle group it was. And then I'd look at another anatomy book and then I'd try and visualize what that felt like inside my own body. Part of that came from dance, and I've mentioned this before. One of my first dance teachers, Titania Dubodowska, had told us that you will learn to love your pain. She was absolutely correct. The process of learning where the muscle groups are is where that pain, let me say, how's that? In certain exercises, we use particular muscle groups, and I called that out this morning, that we want to pay attention to only those muscle groups that we're actively using and let everything else rest. How do we find which muscle groups we need to use and which ones can rest? The ones that hurt are the ones that we're using. This is what Ms. Tanya was talking about when she said, you will learn to love your pain. The more something hurt when we finished practice, the more I was able to isolate that muscle group, develop it, and learn how to use it so that it didn't hurt anymore. That was the goal. We don't want it to hurt. It should, right? We don't want it to hurt. If we pay attention to what does cause a little bit of discomfort, right, in this quiet practice, only pay attention to those things we need to use. It's a similar kind of focus without quite so much pain, right? That digging in deeper to how our muscles function and which ones do we actually need to use. Which ones can we allow to rest? How little effort, right? How little effort can I make? Not how much effort, how little effort can I make to do this thing, this exercise, this form? What can I leave out? That analysis, that separation, what do I have to use? What can I leave out? The side effect of that is a greater ability to use what you need to use and to bring those things that you're leaving out to support whatever it is you're doing. Isolated first, understand both the body mechanics and the internal work that goes with practice. And always going to come back to practice. Always going to come back to practice. All right, I am going to stop here for today. A little bit more analysis today. This process of development is something that we need to understand for ourselves. How do I do this? What do I need? What reinforcement do I need? If you don't get any reinforcement, nobody tells you you're doing good, nobody tells you you're not doing good. How do you deal with that? How do you practice that? Well, you have to tell yourself you're doing good or not, right? Apply the principles. What am I practicing now? What is the outer shape of the form supposed to be? What should it be? What part of the inner practice have I joined with my outer practice? First one is the breath. Really, the physical breath and the physical, that breathe in, breathe out, that's the first one. Developing that, what's next? We start talking about all sorts of things because now we have a foundation to work from. That foundation is the single most important thing that we can gain from our practice. As you practice, focus on that foundation. Make sure that it's solid. Everything else will come from it. Seriously, everything else will come from it. All right, I will be back next week. Xingyi, I'm going to be in here for the near term. My car is pretty fried. All right, so next week, Xingyi, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're working on the 12 Animals form, and we're going to have a couple of new moves as well as some additional analysis similar to what I'm doing today, with the idea that we need to understand as the art gives us, not whatever this or that over here, that, not the buzzwords for today. What's the underlying foundation in this art? What are the principles that belong to this art? And how do we use that in our own practice? Thursday and Friday, Qigong. I hope you'll join me. Thank you.